There's a feeling no one teaches you how to name, but when it shows up, you feel it in your bones. It's like living a life that isn't yours. Everything's working, the job, the bills are paid, even the social media photos, but inside, something's off. It's as if your soul is knocking on the door of your consciousness, saying, "Hey, you forgot who you are." That disconnection, which you might call anxiety, boredom, or exhaustion, could actually be the exact moment the universe is trying to reconnect you with your original path. And what if that anguish is the beginning of your reality shift? Do you ever feel like something's wrong, but you just can't explain it? Like life is somehow off-key. You do everything you were taught to do. Study, work, pay the bills, try to be grateful. But deep down, it still feels like something's missing. What if I told you that feeling isn't a flaw? It's your soul calling out to you. That's right. The problem isn't that you're lost. It's that you're disconnected. There are so many people out there trying to manifest a new life using only logic, without realizing their soul is already begging for an energetic reconnection. And while you keep ignoring the signs, dreams, patterns, sensations, synchronicities, your internal programming stays stuck in a version of yourself that was meant to be left behind. But here's the wild part. Your life isn't falling apart. It's trying to wake you up. This video isn't about magic or self-help cliches. It's about truth, about how the signs you've been ignoring could be the very key to reprogramming your mind, raising your vibration, and accessing a reality shift so deep, it transforms your entire identity. And the best part? You don't have to understand it all. You just have to be willing to listen to what your soul has been whispering all along. The feeling of disconnection from your current life might actually be your soul's call, trying to remind you of your original path. Some days it feels like you're living someone else's life, doesn't it? You wake up, go through the motions, put on a smile, but inside something is screaming. It's like there's a background noise, reminding you that something is out of place. And look, that discomfort isn't just cheap existentialism. It's your energetic field trying to realign your path, calling you back to your center. When that happens, it's not time to ignore it, but to pay attention. Most people think that this restlessness is depression, boredom, or an existential crisis. But in reality, it's your elevated vibration trying to break free from an internal programming that no longer serves you. Have you ever felt like your routine was shrinking you? Like your choices were smaller than who you really are? That happens when your subconscious mind is stuck in an old script that no longer matches your current vibrational frequency. What few people realize is that this feeling of being misaligned is a gift in disguise, because it's what pushes you to seek self-knowledge, reprogram your mind, and change your reality. It's in that emptiness that the invitation to a timeline shift appears. Have you noticed how many life turning points begin with a silent crisis? It's like your soul whispering, "You didn't come here just to pay bills. I've been through that myself. There was a time when everything around me looked beautiful in other people's eyes, but inside I felt like I was in a spiritual exile." And it was in that emotional limbo that I began studying quantum manifestation, the energy of worthiness, and how to collapse reality through self-image. It might sound mystical, I know, but when you experience it, you understand it's just soul science. Maybe you're feeling like what once made sense now feels colorless, like that job that used to excite you, but now only drains you, or those friendships that now feel shallow. These are signs from your inner sensors showing that your energetic alignment is shifting and that your vibration no longer resonates with environments that once felt normal. Believe me, that's evolution. At this point, fear is common. After all, changing internal programming takes work. It takes courage to let go of who you thought you had to be. But it's precisely when you start to release and receive without resistance that the universe begins to conspire in your favor. Trusting the universe isn't about being passive. It's about understanding that when you align with your essence, flow returns. Disconnection isn't the end of the road. It's the sign that says, this road is no longer yours. If you feel like you're living on autopilot, maybe it's time to stop asking for signs and start noticing that they're already everywhere. Everything begins when you decide to raise your vibration and observe with presence. Because the universe doesn't shout, it whispers, and you need to be present to hear it. A great exercise for this moment is intentional silence. Spend 10 minutes a day without your phone, without noise, just observing your thoughts. It sounds simple, but this practice clears the channel between you and your energetic field. That's where you start to notice what's external noise and what's internal guidance. It's in that space that ideas arise, that the heart speaks louder than the mind. Another powerful practice, writing. Grab a notebook and answer questions like, what is draining me? What did I pretend made me happy? What would I do if I wasn't afraid? This forces your subconscious mind to access deep files from your soul contract. It's a way to reprogram your mind with awareness and intention, opening space for new manifestation techniques. Here's an analogy that helped me a lot. Imagine your soul is like a GPS. If you take the wrong turn, it doesn't punish you, it just recalculates. But for that to happen, you have to be listening. If you mute your inner volume and only hear the world's noise, you'll keep going in circles. Now, when you open up to trust the universe, the path starts to reveal itself. This soul calling usually shows up as invisible discomforts. That urge to drop everything, that exhaustion that rest doesn't fix, that stubborn intuition insisting there's something more. These signs are invitations for you to shift identity, align with your mission, and activate a new version of yourself. One that's ready to attract abundance with lightness and presence. And if you feel like you're between worlds, no longer identifying with the old, but not yet having built the new, know that you're in the most powerful place there is, the quantum vacuum of transformation. From here, you can collapse the reality you desire. The question is, will you resist, or will you allow yourself? The synchronicities you experience are not coincidences. They are subtle reminders from your soul, trying to guide you back to your truth. You know those kinds of coincidences that feel more like a nudge from the universe? Like thinking about someone and then they call you seconds later. Or seeing the same number over and over every time you check the clock. That's not random. These are manifestation techniques from your soul, showing you that your elevated vibration is building bridges between dimensions. It's like your energetic field is trying to tap you on the shoulder. Hey, pay attention to this. These synchronicities are signs of your energetic alignment with something your conscious mind hasn't yet grasped, but your subconscious already has. They show up when you start stepping out of autopilot and living more consciously. It's like the universe is responding to you in real time, saying, you're on the right track. Keep going. Once you start noticing, everything begins to connect. One day, before making a major decision, I asked for a clear sign. Within 2 hours, I heard the same phrase in 3 different ways. On a podcast, in a message, and on a street sign. Felt like something out of a movie, but it was quantum manifestation in action, using the most accessible channels for me in that moment. Since then, I've learned that the more you trust the universe, the more it communicates. And here's a key detail. Synchronicity isn't just meant to be noticed. It's meant to be integrated. It's not enough to see 1111 and keep thinking the same way. That's an invitation to raise your vibration, shift your self-image, and align your actions with what you want to attract. The number has no power on its own. It's just the nudge. You're the one who collapses reality with your presence and intention. A great practice is to write down all the synchronicities you notice. It might seem simple, but doing this activates your subconscious mind to recognize hidden patterns. You start to see how certain symbols, people, and themes keep repeating as if they're trying to tell you a story. Spoiler, they are. And that story is your inner reprogramming unfolding in real time. Another way to interpret synchronicities is by observing what you were thinking about when the sign appeared. Were you feeling unsure? Making a decision? Trying to manifest something? That reveals the kind of timeline shift your soul is suggesting. Because the universe doesn't send random signs, it responds to the vibrational frequency you're emitting at that exact moment. Many people overlook these signs because they expect something spectacular. But the universe doesn't work with fireworks. It speaks through whispers, repetition, and subtle feelings. It respects your free will but always gives you alternative routes. Synchronicities are the map to your reality shift, but only those who slow down can read the map's details. And if you keep seeing names, phrases, symbols, or songs repeating, know this: none of it is coincidence. It's your energetic field vibrating in sync with a new possibility. It means your internal programming is being updated. It's as if the system is asking for your permission to install a new version of your identity. But for that, you need to click Accept. Have you ever considered that what you called luck might have actually been a well-executed energetic alignment? That opportunity that came out of nowhere, that unlikely encounter, all of it is pure quantum manifestation. And it doesn't depend on blind effort, but on sensitivity. It's about learning to release and receive, acting with presence and leaving space for the universe to co-create with you. And here's a crucial point. Synchronicities don't guarantee outcomes, but they do indicate direction. If you see a sign and keep resisting, trying to control everything, the connection fades. But if you flow, allow yourself to trust the universe, and change course, that's when miracles start to become routine. The secret is not just seeing the signs. It's responding to them with awareness. If you feel surrounded by coincidences lately, it's because something within you is ready to emerge. Maybe you're at the exact point of transition, about to shift identities and raise your vibration to access a new version of yourself. And the most beautiful part? All of this is happening in a personalized way, with symbolic codes tailor-made for you. Have you noticed that? The dreams, physical sensations, and intense emotions you experience are often ways your soul is trying to communicate with you. How many times have you woken up from a dream feeling like it was more real than your actual day-to-day life? Exactly. Sometimes your soul uses the dream state as a direct portal to communicate. While your rational mind rests, your subconscious takes the lead and allows your spiritual essence to send messages through symbols, sensations, and even highly specific scenarios. These aren't just nighttime fantasies. They're fragments of your truth trying to surface. Recurring dreams, for example, are like unopened emails. If you keep dreaming about the same place, person, or situation, there's an invitation there to look deeper. I once dreamed for weeks about a raging sea trying to swallow me. At the time, I was struggling with a tough decision. When I finally made it, the dream stopped. It was my soul telling me that resisting change was only dragging me down. Literally. That's reprogramming your mind through symbolic language. And it's not just dreams. That sudden chill, a knot in your stomach when you meet someone, or even a light headache with no clear cause. All of these can be energetic manifestations. The body is the first to respond when there's vibrational misalignment. If you keep ignoring it, the mind suffers. But if you listen, the body relaxes. Your elevated vibration begins in the body. It's the one translating what your soul is trying to say. Have you noticed how certain places instantly make you feel at peace for no apparent reason? Or how being around some people slows your heartbeat, while others seem to drain your energy like they're pulling your soul? That's not judgment, that's energetic reading. When your energetic field connects with something it recognizes as home, there's expansion. When it touches something dissonant, there's contraction. That's you collapsing reality in real time based on your vibrational self-image. And about intense emotions, have you ever felt an overwhelming joy out of nowhere? Or a deep sadness without any obvious trigger? That happens because the soul operates on different time layers. Sometimes you feel something now that your conscious mind hasn't yet processed, but is already in the manifestation process. These emotions are like pre-echoes of a timeline shift. If you learn to read them, you'll start trusting the universe more lightly. The key here is, don't suppress, listen. Emotions are vibrational reading tools. When you feel something strongly, ask yourself, what is this trying to show me about myself? Often, discomfort reveals where you're off track. Other times, the euphoria shows that you're about to attract abundance in a specific area. The most effective manifestation techniques start with that honest listening. To practice, try writing down everything you remember from your dreams as soon as you wake up. It doesn't matter if they seem confusing or meaningless. Over time, patterns emerge. A repeated symbol, a color, a feeling. That's your soul pointing to parts of your internal programming that need attention. It's like hacking your own subconscious, and that's powerful. Another practice is to track your sensations throughout the day like a radar. Did I feel a shiver when I thought about that project? Did I feel warmth when I talked to that person? That's your energetic field in action, reacting before logic even kicks in. Over time, you develop an emotional GPS. And when that happens, you begin to attract situations aligned with who you truly are, not with who you were taught to be. And yes, sometimes the soul speaks loudly. A panic attack, an unexpected illness, an emotional breakdown. Not because it wants to punish you, but because you didn't listen to the whispers. When you stray from your mission, life stops everything to remind you of it. Not with anger, but with love. Because there is something in you that came into this world to express a unique frequency. And that can't be ignored for long. Now, pay attention to the people who stir up the strongest emotions in you, good or bad. Often, they're directly connected to your soul contract. They trigger memories that go beyond logic. Sometimes, they're disguised teachers who show up to push you out of old programming. Other times, they're catalysts for healing. But all of them play a role in your identity shift. So when your soul communicates through dreams, sensations, or emotions, it's not trying to confuse you. It's trying to wake you up. It wants to remind you that there is a specific path of quantum manifestation waiting for you, and that you already have everything you need to walk that path. The question is, will you follow your intuition, or keep trying to figure it all out through logic alone? The patterns that keep repeating in your life aren't bad luck or misfortune. They're conscious repetitions your soul programmed to teach you something you haven't learned yet. Have you ever stopped to wonder why you keep going through the same situations with different people? You change jobs but find the same controlling boss. You end one relationship, start another, and the same conflicts show up again. That's not bad luck. It's your subconscious mind trying to complete a cycle that's still open. You repeat the pattern because your soul is trying to teach you a specific lesson that you haven't yet integrated. These patterns are like vibrational loops you need to learn how to decode. It's not about blame, it's about awareness. When you don't identify the internal programming behind your experiences, the universe repeats the scene, only the costume changes. It's like a movie script that keeps being res-hot until you change the performance. And once you understand that, you begin to reprogram your mind intentionally, not impulsively. I went through this myself. For years, I kept getting involved with people who made me feel invisible. I used to blame them, until I realized I was the one making myself invisible. The pattern was mine. It was my self-image that attracted that kind of energy. When I started working on the energy of worthiness, my vibration changed, and so did my relationships. The external shift only happened when I made an internal identity shift. Here's a simple example. If you're always experiencing financial scarcity, maybe it's not a money problem, maybe it's a worthiness issue. Your soul might be trying to teach you to trust the universe and break inherited limiting beliefs. It's like it's putting you through vibrational training so you can access your ability to attract abundance. It's not punishment. It's spiritual training with a focus on evolution. Another common pattern, always feeling rejected. Sometimes it's not about others rejecting you, but about you rejecting parts of yourself. People and situations are mirrors showing you where you need healing. It's quantum manifestation happening in a very instructional way. You attract what you need to face in order to grow. And once you accept that, you begin collapsing reality with more awareness and less drama. That's why the pain that repeats the most is also the clearest clue to your next timeline shift. Discomfort tells you where the energetic block is. The things that trigger, hurt, or limit you the most, That's exactly where the reprogramming needs to happen. Facing that head-on is liberating, because once you confront the pattern, it stops controlling you. Want to change that? Start by writing down the cycles in your life. What themes keep repeating? What kinds of people do you frequently attract? What emotions get triggered in certain situations? This gives you clarity on what internal programming is active. From there, you can start applying specific manifestation techniques to raise your vibration in that area. A good technique: repeat affirmations that oppose the pattern. If you always feel rejected, say daily, "I am welcome wherever I go. My presence is a gift." It may sound simple, but with repetition and emotion, this reprograms the subconscious mind. And when your inner vibration changes, your energetic field responds on the outside. Another practice is to visualize the same scenario you usually experience, but with a different ending. Imagine your boss values you, your partner understands you, money flows freely. This kind of visualization is timeline jumping training. It's like telling the universe, "Now I know how to act differently." And guess what? The universe responds. Oh, and if you feel stuck in an endless cycle, know this: every pattern has an exit key, and it always starts with self-awareness. No real change happens unless you're willing to step out of the victim role and into your power as a co-creator. Once you understand that, life stops feeling like a punishment and starts becoming a game of consciousness. These repetitive patterns aren't eternal karmic punishments. They're soul missions. They're recurring reminders that you came here for something greater. And yes, you can trust the universe, let go of control, and receive a new reality. All it takes is doing something different. Stop running from the pattern and start having a dialogue with it. When everything starts to fall apart, it may not be the end. It might just be the beginning of your true journey. There are moments when it feels like life hit the self-destruct button, right? Everything falls apart at once. A relationship ends, money disappears, health wavers, friendships break down. You look around and think, what did I do wrong? But what if I told you that this apparent collapse could actually be the beginning of a new timeline leap? The soul often needs to break down the old structure so the new one can emerge. The pain of deconstruction comes when your old internal programming can no longer sustain the reality your soul wants to live. And then the universe starts closing doors, not to punish you, but to redirect you. The elevated vibration you want to access no longer fits the old shell. You know how a snake needs to shed its skin? That chaotic moment is the skin coming off. I clearly remember the first major breakdown that woke me up. I lost a project I thought was my life's mission. I had no income, and I had to move back in with my family. I felt like a failure, but it was in that emptiness that I found silence, connection, and finally started diving deep into quantum manifestation and mind reprogramming. That's where my new identity began to form. When everything collapses, your energetic field enters a clean, fertile, open state. That's when you can plant new seeds with intention. But to do that, you have to release and receive. Accept that control is an illusion. Clinging to what was is what prolongs the pain. True abundance only arrives when you create space for it. The universe doesn't fill what's already full. It fills the empty with purpose. And it's funny how the subconscious mind panics in those moments, right? It craves safety, routine, the comfort zone. But the soul wants expansion. It wants energetic alignment. It wants freedom. And if those two aren't speaking the same language, you feel chaos. But in this context, chaos is sacred language. It's your soul shouting, "Trust, come this way." At this point, the worst thing you can do is try to rush back to the old. Forcing a relationship that's over. Begging for the job that was making you sick. Clinging to a routine that no longer matches your vibration. Reality shifts require emotional detachment. And yes, it hurts, but it hurts like breaking free from chains. The pain passes. The relief remains. A powerful practice during these times is conscious silence. Spend 1 hour a day in total silence. No stimulation, no distractions, just your thoughts and sensations. That's when you'll hear your soul. That's when you'll feel which direction to go. And that listening is the foundation of quantum manifestation. Because when you quiet the noisy mind, intuition becomes a flawless GPS. Another exercise: write down everything that went wrong in the past few months. Then, next to each item, ask, what did this force me to see? What did this loss teach me? What wouldn't I have changed if this hadn't happened? This kind of reflection turns pain into awareness. And awareness is the fuel for identity shifts. When you're in the eye of the storm, it seems like nothing will align. But the secret is to stop resisting the process. Trust the universe like you'd trust an old friend. Say, okay, I don't understand yet, but I accept this realignment. That surrender isn't passivity, it's energetic intelligence. That's how you raise your vibration and open invisible doors. And look, when everything falls apart, you discover who you really are. Because without the labels, without the status, without the expectations, all that's left is you. Raw, real, true. And it's in that state that you can collapse the most authentic reality of your life. Starting from zero, yes, but with everything you need to build something that's truly yours. So, the next time everything seems to be falling apart, ask yourself, is this happening to me or for me? Because sometimes what you call loss is the universe freeing you from a detour. Chaos only comes before rebirth. And maybe this is exactly the moment when you're being guided the most. Now tell me, after all this, can you really keep calling it just a coincidence? Are you going to keep ignoring the recurring dreams, the screaming patterns, the intuition that keeps trying to warn you? Or will you accept that maybe your soul is simply trying to remind you of who you truly are? The choice is in your hands. And if you've made it this far, it's because something in you has already started to wake up. The question now isn't, is this real? It's, what are you going to do with it? Will you keep running on autopilot? Or will you use this awareness to raise your vibrational frequency, shift your self-image, and attract the life your soul designed for you long before you were even born? Because the time to collapse that new reality is now. So what signs has your soul been showing you lately? Drop a comment below. Let's create a space to share experiences and grow together. And of course, if this video resonated with you, make sure to subscribe, hit the bell, and keep walking this journey with us. There's so much more to discover, and you don't have to do it alone.